Welcome, friends and listeners, Brandon Inquisitors. I'm Jake.
And I'm Jax. We're your Aeroline announcers. Join us this week as we dive into the Copper Mine.
Into the Copper Mine.
Indeed.
Elantris, chapters 13 through 15.
Yep.
Pretty light based on talking points.
Yeah, as far as depth goes, very surface level chapters. Very much just progressing the storyline.
Yeah.
There were some longer chapters too. There were some words in here for sure, but not too much meat.
Yeah, I agree. How was your week?
That's pretty good.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I found a new apartment, so I'll be moving in 2 weeks.
Which means our studio will be moving in 2 weeks.
Yep. This is my kitchen table.
Yep. So look forward to that if you're a video listener. If you're on YouTube.
If you follow us on YouTube and you're watching over there, studio setup will be changing in a week or two, but audio should hopefully stay the same or get better, maybe.
Yeah, eventually it'll get better, but not until the pod starts paying for it to get better.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So before we get into the chapters this week,
Jacob apparently has something for me, and I don't know what's coming. So
I have made a little game.
Oh,
that's going to be fun. Have you ever seen the game that's you have $15 to spend?
Ooh.
And you have different categories?
Yes.
I made one of those for a desolation.
Okay.
So you are going into a desolation.
Is this going to be just Roshar characters?
It's going to be Roshar themed, yes.
Okay.
So you live on Roshar. You're going into a desolation. You have $15 to spend. Your first category is your city. Okay?
Okay.
And take this as the place you're defending.
Yeah.
Okay? So for $1 is Shinovar.
Okay.
Farmland, cottages.
Yeah.
For $1, Shinovar. $2, you get the Shattered Plains.
Okay.
Not the war camps. The Shattered Plains. So basically where the singers are.
Yeah.
The first two-ish books. For $3, you get Kerbranth.
Okay.
So cliff, city in the cliff. $4, you get the Alethkar Palace. So basically...
So Kholinar?
Yes, Kholinar Palace.
Okay.
And for $5, you get Urithiru.
Man. I was expecting Thalena to be on that list somewhere.
Nope.
Initially, I'd want to go Kharbranth just because it's that middle ground.
Yeah.
And all of it. But because of my personal feelings about Kharbranth, dude, I think I have to go Shinovar, honestly. I know that's going to be a hot take, but I think I have to go Shinovar.
Okay. Not much to, retreat into if you need.
No.
Basically just level playing field, I guess. Okay, $1. So you have $14 left.
Okay. Next question. How many categories are there?
There's 4.
Okay.
These usually have 4 categories. Okay. For your second category, you get your Radiant order. So for $1, you get no order. You're just a soldier, pretty much. For $2, you're a Dustbringer. For $3, you're a Lightweaver. For $4, you are a Windrunner. And for $5, you're a Bondsmith.
Ooh, I think, oh man. I think the smart choice would be Bondsmith. But I really want to be a Windrunner. I'm going to take Windrunner for $4.
Okay. You have $10 left, which makes the last two kind of
5 and 5.
anticlimactic.
Yeah.
You're probably going to go 5 and 5, but maybe not. You probably will. For your third category, you have your power level. So
so $1 per Radiant oath?
Kind of. I did $1, you're just a soldier.
Okay.
Which doesn't make sense now that you're a Windrunner, but
okay.
Whatever. For $2, you're a Squire.
Okay.
For $3, you're a third ideal radiant.
Okay.
$4, fourth ideal. $5, fifth ideal.
$5.
Cool. And for the last one, you actually might not go with the $5 one because I feel like you could pick most of these and be fine, but
Okay.
it's your companion. So whoever you're fighting side by side with.
Oh, okay.
For $1, you get Lirin. Kaladin's dad.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
For $2, you get Adolin. Not a Radiant, but he is a Shard Bearer. And
He's an unknown shard bearer. We love Adolin. He's one of our favorite Rosharan characters,
Yeah.
favorite Stormlight Archives characters.
for $3, you get Lift.
Okay.
For $4, you get Shalon. And for $5, you get Stormblessed himself. And you have $5 to spend, so you really...
Yeah, so can I do this instead? Can I take Adolin for 2 and take my extra $3 and move to Kolinar instead of the Shattered Plane, or instead of
You're
Shinovar?
wanting to go back? I think that's against the rules.
Is that against the
I'm
rules?
pretty sure you chose. you chose Shinovar.
I didn't know.
That's kind of the point. You got a budget, my guy, and you budgeted.
I budgeted, bro.
You chose Shinovar.
Hey, it wasn't a terrible idea.
You know what? So, who are you choosing?
Man, is it bad for me to say I'd almost rather fight alongside Adolin than Kaladin? Is that a hot take?
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
You're choosing.
if we're
Look.
trying to survive the desolation, we should probably take Kaladin.
Okay, taking Kaladin.
Yeah, I'll take Kaladin.
Okay.
Yes.
Took Kaladin. I'm gonna say you probably survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
There
I thought that would be fun and liven things up right at the beginning of the episode.
and we hope you guys enjoyed it.
Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you guys did, leave a review, a comment, let us know, and I'll probably come up with more fun games to play at the beginning of episodes.
Okay.
All right, let's jump into Elantris.
Hey guys, this is your spoiler warning for this episode. We talk about things from Warbreaker, Mistborn, and Stormlight Archive.
One thing to note before we do jump into Elantris.
Okay.
Isles of the Emberdark came out this week.
Yes, it did.
Jacob has already read it all the way through.
Yes, I have, and we're probably going to film a no spoilers review for our TikTok page.
Once I make it all the way through, because I'm only about half the way through right now. I have not had the time this week to do that.
Yeah. So it was, I guess we can put a no spoiler small review here for me. I loved it.
Yeah.
I think it might be my favorite secret project.
Really?
I think
Better than
so.
Sunlit Man.
Yeah, well, I would put Yumi over Sunlit.
Yeah, you would.
Yumi was my favorite secret project. I really enjoyed, but I'm an anime fan, so I liked the Japanese inspired culture that there was in Yumi. So I really enjoyed Yumi, and yeah, but it's just so much fun to read with the amount of cameos and the amount of like snips we get that lead to questions. Like, I have so many questions.
Yeah.
It's similar to Sunlit Man, where it's like, Sunlit Man, you leave with more questions than you got answered in the book.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but this one has more cameos. I enjoyed the story better than Sunlit Man. And honestly, some of my favorite characters in the Cosmere are in Isles of the Emberdark now. I really, really enjoyed it. So
okay. Yeah, I loved Sunlit Man for all of the like Cosmere knowledge that it brought, but story-wise, it wasn't Brandon Sanderson's strongest book.
Yeah.
In that aspect, I did like Yumi and the Nightmare Painter better than Sunlit Man as far as like the storyline aspect. But we just learned a lot more from Sunlit Man, and I love that. So yeah. I'm excited to keep going. I also just need to get a physical copy of this book because I just haven't been able to pay attention enough listening to Isles of the Emberdark, because they will just like there's so many things that are just offhand comments.
Yes.
That's one line, and if you space out for 15 seconds, you've missed an entire like point or cameo or something. So
yes, like for me, because I usually listen to it at work. That's when I have the most time to. I just pop it in my ear. And when you're working on a job site, we're electricians. Most of you know that. But when you're working on a job site, it can get really loud. And so the amount of times I just would have to like pause it because it's too loud for me to like actually concentrate on it was crazy. And that's why it took me, how long has it been out? 8 days?
something like that, yeah.
That's why it took me 8 days to finish it, where it's only like a 30 to 35 hour audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
And I work 10 hours a day. Like, I technically could have finished it in 4. It took me 8 because of all the pausing and all that. But there's so many times where I would pause, go back 30 seconds and re-listen to something because I'm like, did I just hear that right?
Yeah.
Is that saying what I think it's saying there?
Yeah.
So it's really fun. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and Jake and I are both electricians, but we have different jobs. We work for different companies.
Mm-hmm.
He works new construction, and so he a lot of times can just plug it in, go to work, and not have to worry about anything else. And I work as a service technician, and so I am constantly like talking to homeowners, talking to clients, and doing that kind of stuff.
Using your brain.
Yeah, using my brain instead of just like going, and so it's a lot harder for me to listen at work than it was.
Yeah,
because I used to work new construction as well, and that's how I got through all of Brandon Sanderson's works.
Yeah,
so.
Guys, leave a comment. Tell us how you have been feeling if you've read Ember Dark, if it's your favorite secret project, or just your thoughts on it. We'd love to hear it.
Yep.
Okay. Now
into
Elantris. Raoden's chapter was pretty lengthy.
Yes.
But I think we'll be able to get through it decently quickly.
I think we can. There's not like a ton. It's gonna be pretty like surface level storyline. I didn't really find a whole lot that connected on a deeper level than that. So.
Even within this book, not just Cosmere wise.
Like,
there's not
this book in general doesn't connect too much on a Cosmere level, but there's not too much in these chapters that connected through the book.
Yeah. So. It's all just like moving the story along. And we're getting into those chapters where they just have to get stuff done and not really reveal too much important stuff. So that's what we're doing. So the Aeon at the top of these 3 chapters is Aeon Dio, which is gold or metal.
Gold.
No connection. I know I said I wasn't going to keep looking.
But he is.
But like subconsciously, I couldn't find a connection.
Yeah.
Okay. So we start out, Raoden and Galadon are in the Karathi Chapel. They're kind of like base of operations.
Yeah, this is the place that they were talking to their new members of their society, and Raoden asked Galadon, like, what is this? He's like, it's Karathi Chapel. They've decided to move from Galadon's little hidey hole to this chapel as their main base.
Yep, and they decided to move the books up as well because Galadon doesn't want people knowing about his hidey hole.
Yes.
So they're looking through the books and Raoden is like, this is it. Galadon, get over here. Like, I found something. And Galadon's like, yo, what have you found? And he points to the coverless book. Now, they're coverless because Marishi's been using the leather from the book covers to make shoes and things of the sort.
Yes.
And he found a book that's written completely in Aeons, which we haven't seen yet anything like that. Yeah. And honestly, we don't see it much throughout the rest of the book either.
No.
Raoden says he's going to translate it because he also has an Aeon dictionary. Which I would love.
Yeah, I would also love. But Galadon, Raoden's like beckoning him over to like, Galadon, come look, I found it. And Galadon comes over and looks at his books and it's just Aeons. He's like, Suli, like, I can't read that.
He says,
Raoden's like, I can't either. Like,
yeah. He says he doesn't recognize 1/10 of the Aeons on the page.
Yeah.
Which
is crazy.
Because we have a list of around 20 to 30 Aeons
in the back of this book.
In the back of this.
I think it's around 40 on
the Coppermind.
Coppermind.
Which means that there's probably how many are in the back
I've got at least like 40 back here.
Which means this Aeon book is probably using close to or over 400 different Aeons. It makes me wonder how many, like, if that Aeon dictionary has it for all of them, which I would assume it would.
Yeah.
Which means there is so much of Aeon Door that we do not see in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandon, I don't know if he's already written it or if he's going to write it soon, the second Elantris book. We need this power system to be more fleshed out.
Yes. Because the things that Brandon has said about Aeon Door and the things you can accomplish with it are wild.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm excited to see where he goes with that.
He points out a Aeon that said, he's like, see, this says Aeon Door right here.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get, do we get an Aeon for Door?
There is none.
Which means he recognizes this Aeon that we don't even know about.
Yeah, well, so this, because it talks about it later, Door is almost spelled out phonetically.
Oh.
As if it had been brought in from another language. That's when Galadon is talking to Raoden and he's like, yeah, Door comes from the Jesker religion, you know, like.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And Raoden's like, oh, that makes so much sense because it's in here like phonetically, you know?
Okay. So, cool little book. He says he's going to translate it. And
he's excited to have finally found a useful book because most of the books in the study are landscape books. They're geography books. Because it was Galadon's dad and that was his interest.
Yeah, that was his interest. I like this line here after they talk about the Aeons a bit. Galadon goes, Sully, sometimes you're so optimistic it's sickening. Which is hilarious coming from a doula.
Yeah.
So,
but then Galadon asks, like, so can I take the rest of these back down to the study? Because Galadon loves the books.
Yes,
there's one tie to his dad and all this, and so he's really like nervous and concerned about having all these books up here in the grime of Elantris without covers on them. So Raoden lets him take the rest of the books back down.
Yep, I did note that some of the books were journals, which I assume are Galadon's father's journals.
Yes, I would assume so.
I it's interesting that Raoden doesn't find them more interesting. Like the journals of pre-Rio de Lantrian, I feel like would tell you a bit, but it really depends on what he's writing in his journal.
Yeah, if he's writing about geography and
or if he's like, I hate life, I want to die.
From what we know about Galadon's dad, that might have been about what his journals were like. So
we're not monetized, but I hope we never get demonetized. Some of the stuff we say might. Oh man. They go on to talk about the roof a little bit, and Galadon's like worried it might cave in on them because he doesn't think Mary and Rael know what they're doing.
Yeah. And Raoden's like, don't worry so much, like they know what they're doing. Galadon's like, no, they don't. They had no idea what they were doing until you told them what to do, you know?
Yeah.
And Raoden's like, no, what I mean is they're competent, you know?
Yeah.
And it talks about how they're building this roof. It says Marishi does a lot of good things for us. I mean, obviously he's making the shoes. Mm-hmm. He makes the rope that Raoden's going to use later in this chapter. He's making this paste for him. Says he devised a clay-like combination of wood scraps, soil, and the ever-prevalent Elantris sludge. This mixture, when added to the fallen support beams and some less rotted sections of cloth, had provided materials to make a ceiling that was, if not superior, at least adequate.
Yeah, so they're getting a roof. Yay!
Getting a roof.
We come to learn that they took another person from the gates the day before.
Yes.
His name is Lauren or
Lauren. I mean, the Aeon would be Ori.
Yep. Which we don't have a definition for.
Yes, it is an Aeon, but we don't have.
Yep. And he got some gloves from Marishi. He made some
leather gloves.
and he's kind of just moving big rocks and stuff. because
Clearing out the garden space.
Yeah, clearing out the garden space.
Not that he knows that that's what he's doing, and nobody knows that but Raoden. What Galadon sees is Raoden just has this guy out moving dirt.
Yeah,
what are you even having this guy do? Like, come on.
Raoden goes, "You'll see," and it says with a secretive smile because he hasn't told Galadon that he's wanting to start planting food yet.
Yes.
Alrighty. I will note that they talk a little bit about how long it's been. So it had been 5 solid days passed without anyone getting thrown into Elantris.
Yes.
And I did the math. I added everything up. It means that this is Raoden's 12th day in Elantris. So it hasn't even been 2 weeks yet. Yep.
He's done a lot.
He's done a lot. That's a thing in this book is they do so much in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, because from day 1, we've got a 90-day countdown.
Yes.
And we know that 90 days actually turns into more like 60 days.
Yes.
So this whole book and everything they accomplish happens in 2 months.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Okay, so they're talking about, not being able to expect as many new bodies as Raoden had hoped, because nobody's been thrown in 5 days. And it's just at that point that they hear a voice like Lord Spirit, and he turns and he finds someone standing at the gate.
Yeah, right on cue. They're like, "Oh man, we're not getting as many members." And then someone shows up and is like, "I've heard that like you can take the pain away and the people that follow you aren't as hungry." And Raoden's kind of like, "Yeah, well, so what did you do before you were an Elantrian?" And he's like, "I was a cleaner." And he was like, "Perfect. I've been waiting for someone with your like skill set. I need you to clean this church.
Yeah.
It's time for us to stop living in filth. I need you to clean this inside and out." And the guy's like, "Then you'll tell me the secret?" And he's just like, Trust me.
Yeah.
So he sets, he has Marishi show him where they collect rainwater. So he has water to clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume he's just using like a piece of cloth or something.
Yeah, something.
Whatever. So he
One of their
now has a
seacorn
cleaner.
bags, I guess.
Yeah. He just has a cleaner now. Raoden goes, "The most difficult part of leadership here in Elantris was maintaining the attitude of optimism that Galadon teased him about."
Yeah.
So like,
and I saw that and I was like, we're seeing again the dichotomy, the difference between Raoden's like inner pessimism and his outwards optimism.
Yeah.
Here, because it says as soon as this new character introduced himself as Kahar, which is Aeon Ahe, which is breath and air. We've already seen. But it says as soon as Kahar had like turned away, Raoden's smile just dropped. Like he was like smiling and like, "Trust me, like this is gonna be great." Marishi show him all this, and then they turn and his smile just dead.
I can feel that.
Yeah.
On an inner level, like the whole like grinning, talking to someone, and as soon as they're not looking, just dead face.
Yes. I work with customers. I work in like a customer service environment.
Yeah.
Been there, done that,
He says that he had never considered himself an overly cheerful person. However, Raoden found himself reacting to the air of despair with defiant optimism, which I think is an interesting point when you think about how Aendin reacted to the air of despair. So Aendin came in, saw the despair, and was like, "I can't handle this sane," and went crazy.
Yeah.
Whereas Raoden saw the air of despair and is like, "You know what? I'm gonna be the happiest guy here."
Yeah, I mean, going back to chapter 1, it talks about like he stared damnation in the face and like
pushed forward.
Yeah, exactly. So,
he goes. Sorry,
no, go ahead.
I just want to make sure this doesn't get skipped over. He starts talking about like how he feels like he's not gonna last that long.
Hey, you know what? That was what I was talking about.
Okay, go ahead.
No, it says he'd barely been in here a week and a half. Right, which we just found out is, he's been in here 12 days.
Yep.
And he's already wondering, like, he was in so much pain. He was wondering how long it would be before he couldn't function at all. And he's gaining all of this, like, responsibility. These people that are following him. He now has random people from Elantris coming and joining him, not just the people he's stealing from the gate. and it says one question was more frightening than how long he would last. It was when he fell, how many people would fall with him, you know? And so he's just like, yeah, he's got all these physical pains and the hunger and everything, but he's just also weighing himself down mentally with how many people he's going to be taking care of.
Yeah, I'm also assuming that, like, this is also the door, not an attack, but Raoden throughout the book seems to not be able to handle the pain as much as anyone else.
Yeah.
Just on a level. And so my assumption is that, like, most of that would be the door trying to channel itself through him again. Because he has, like, a stubbed toe, a scratched hand, and a bruise on his arm. And that's the extent of his wounds that we know of right now, which I just can't believe that's what's, like, pushing him over the edge. Is like,
it can't be.
It can't be.
And
It has to be the door.
And he's just been in there for 15 days.
Yeah, 12.
12. He's been in there for 12 days.
Yeah.
There's no way that, like, he's that far gone.
No, it has to be the door.
Yeah.
Would be my assumption.
Which, again, we don't fully understand what connection Raoden has with the door, why that connection's there, what instigated it. Brandon, if you've got, like, any answers, feel free to enlighten us. Listeners, if you guys have any, like, thoughts, theories, ideas, we'd love to hear them in the comments of, like, why Raoden?
Yeah, because the biggest hurdle for, like, figuring that out is devotion, which is the shard that was over Aeon Door, doesn't have a vessel.
Right.
And so it's just the pure investiture and its intent. So it's not like we can be like, oh, well, this shard might have just, like, chosen Raoden to be that. You know, similar to how Ruin kind of chose to manipulate Vin and Zane. Or
not Dominion. Nalthis. Endowment. Endowment chooses people to return. Like, it's a specific choice by a vessel.
Yeah, or how, like, Cultivation chose Dalinar, Teravangian, and Lift specifically. Like, there's no vessel to kind of choose Raoden here.
Right.
And so it's like, I have no idea why Raoden.
Yeah, I mean, we do also know that any pool of investiture left to its own free will long enough will gain, you know, like, sentience.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how that works with them being shattered.
Yeah.
And being in the cognitive realm. And so I'm not, like, 100% certain there, but it's possible that the pure investiture, because, you know, obviously Honor lost their shard.
Yes.
Or their vessel, but still ended up with some
consciousness.
Yeah, some consciousness and ability to choose.
The problem being Honor wasn't
shattered.
Is it shattered or splintered? I think it's
splintered.
Honor's power wasn't splintered, and so it's hard. I don't think we have an answer on whether a splintered shard would then gain consciousness just by being, you know, all the investiture. Because if it did, the storm in the cognitive realm wouldn't be there if it had consciousness. It's really hard to say.
Yeah.
And also Dominion would also have gained consciousness, and I just don't think so.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys think in the comments. We'd love to hear any theories as to why Raoden, what that connection is, and how it was formed.
Yep. So Seolin comes running in, and he's like, Lord Spirit, like, bad news. There's a group of armed men coming this way. 12 of them, and they're carrying steel weapons.
Which in Elantris,
rare.
You don't see a lot of weapons in Elantris. And on top of being rare, terrifying.
Yes.
Like, if you're an Elantrian and you have no way to... Seolin has a stick. Like, the sturdiest stick he could find with, like...
Rotted.
Yeah, half-rotted, sturdiest, like, stick he could find with a sharp rock, like, tied to the top of it. And that is That is the only weapon that Raoden's band has.
Yep.
And they've got 12 armed men with steel weapons coming their way, you know?
Yeah. So they walk into the chapel and it's Karada and her men.
Mm-hmm.
And Raoden's just like, "What's up, Karada?" And she just kind of looks around and is like, "Tear it down, break their bones."
Yeah. Brutal. Man, it gives a description of Karada.
Yeah.
And it's something in her eyes, and it's not the same. Like, I know we've talked about eyes and relating to Elantris and like how they don't change, but what it was here is she had a proud face and determined eyes, the eyes of a person who hadn't given into pain and who wasn't going to do so anytime soon. And I just loved that like description of Karada. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell she's got a purpose, you know? She's not Aendin, she's not crazy, she's not like a feral beast like Aendin's men, or sorry, Sheor's men. But she's determined.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we kind of see Raoden as like, oh, he figured out that like if you give people purpose, then they won't be as hungry or feel the pain as much. But Karada been doing this.
Yes.
Her whole gang doesn't eat, and she even says later in the chapter, she's like, we can all bear the hunger easier knowing that the kids are safe and knowing that the kids are getting food.
That the reason we're going hungry is because the kids are eating.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But so Karada been doing this and she has a purpose.
Yes. And her purpose is getting food for the kids and protecting the kids.
Yep.
And Raoden's in the way because he's taking, so Loren was Karada's.
Yep.
And Raoden stepped in and stole it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what instigated this.
So she's like, destroy the building, chase them out, and break some bones. Pretty brutal.
Pretty brutal.
But Raoden, right away, he says it even quietly. He goes, I can get you into Iadon's palace, because he knows that's what she wants.
Yeah, he doesn't know why.
Yeah.
But she's been caught outside of Elantris twice already.
Yep.
And both times she was in the proximity of Iadon's palace, which isn't right outside the Elantris gates. You know, like it's not. He knows that was her destination.
Yeah. So they kind of go back and forth. She's kind of like, you're bluffing, sort of thing. You're desperate and you're bluffing.
Yeah.
And he's like,
even if you could get me into the palace, you can't get me out of the city. They've doubled the guard.
He's like, I can do all of that.
Yeah.
And I may be I may be desperate, but I'm also an opportunist, and I can do it. And she's like, I'll be here at nightfall. You know, if you're not telling the truth, my people will come and
break the bones of everybody in
here.
We're
gonna hurt you. And he's like, understood. So
sounds peachy.
Night comes and Galadon, we get a bit of dialogue here.
I love this dialogue. Galadon starts, he's like, Suli, and then Raoden interrupts him.
Don't think this is a good idea. Yeah.
Galadon getting a little predictable here, I think.
Yep.
So he's talking about instead of, doing this, just going and hiding. And this was something, he says, Elantris is a big city. Like, there are places we can hide that Karada's not going to find us.
Yeah.
And I just haven't been thinking of Elantris in that way, as like big as it is,
And it's hard because I never really think of Elantris. Like, if you look on the cover of our books, you're seeing like skyscrapers and like big stuff.
Yeah.
And I never think of it that way.
No,
I think of it more of like the tiny little map at the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
Where it just doesn't look that big.
No.
But it is. It's a big city.
Yeah.
So he's like, we can hide. And Raoden shoots back like, if we hide, they can't find us, but no one else would be able to either. Like, we're just starting to gain some traction here and starting to grow. So we're not going to hide.
Yep. So they decide to go do it. And Galadon, retorts back to that, and he's like, do we have to grow? Like, do we really need to be starting another gang here? And Raoden's like, Galadon, that's not what I'm doing,
No, that's not what I'm doing, Galadon. Yeah. He's like, I have no wish for power. And he goes on to be able to be like, I'm worried about life, Galadon.
Yeah.
Life. I want the Elantrians to start living again.
He says not just survival, right?
Yeah.
He says these people are dead because they have given up, not because their hearts no longer beat. And I just thought that was just like, that's a line right there.
Yeah.
And so he says, I'm going to change that. He's like, I can't make their hearts beat again. He doesn't say that, but that's basically what he's implying. Like, I might not be able to make their hearts beat again. Spoiler alert. Yeah, he can. But
Spoiler alert, he does.
He does. But he's like, I might not be able to change that, but I can give them hope again. You know, and I can give them life back.
So Galadon's like, that's impossible. And Raoden's like, well, so is getting Karada into the palace, but I'll see you when I get back. I love it. So he goes off, and he takes Karada to the well.
Yeah, so she comes back at nightfall. It's dark now.
Yep.
And then they like make their way over to the well, and she's like, "What's this?" And he's like, "This is our exit. Like, you know,
how we're going.
195. Like, take it right." Like,
she's like, "Dude, we're gonna drown, bro." And he's like, "Nah, I held my breath for a half hour earlier today. Lungs didn't even burn. We chillin'."
Yeah, he's like, the only reason, like, he's like, our blood doesn't flow. It doesn't need oxygen. The only reason we need to breathe is to speak.
Yeah, and he goes, it's just like my friend Galadon is fond of saying, already dead, go low. So good.
I love that line.
Karada did not look convinced. They talk about the river and how it flows straight into Kai and pretty much right past the palace.
Yeah.
And
which
then
makes sense because basically what happened is Iadon just took his home and turned it into the palace.
Yeah.
Like doubled guard and, you know, like built up some extra fortifications maybe, but he was a merchant and he was a merchant on the river, and so it makes sense that his house would be near it.
Yep. And so he has the makeshift rope that Marishi made him,
which I just wouldn't trust.
Well, he said he tested it. It did say he tested it. He tested that it would hold his weight.
Okay.
And everything. So Karada's like, hey, you're first, spirit. Go for it.
Yeah. I've got to imagine Marishi is making that rope out of like the corn feed sacks that have been brought into Elantris, because I can't imagine anything that was in Elantris that was infused with the door and no longer is worthy to be made into rope.
Yeah, well, we do know they have like scraps of cloth that they were using to make the roof.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some cloth and stuff. I think he says he tied a bunch of rags together or something.
Yeah.
And so Raoden goes down. He reached the end of the rope and is not at the bottom yet. So real brave moment from Raoden. Pitch black, just dropping.
Yeah.
And he drops about 10 feet, lands in the water, and is like, all right, come on down. So they both drop down.
She gets a little nervous at the end. She gets down to the bottom of the rope, and she's like, and he's like, you're about 10 feet above the water.
Yeah. So he said it was shockingly cold, which, nod to you. You were right about the Elantris and their temperature regulatory. What?
Elantrians are cold-blooded, not necessarily like...
Yeah. What was the word? Regulation?
Yeah.
Temperature regulation. Oh my gosh. And then he's like, we don't even have to swim. Like, the current will take us. And he's like, we just have to hope that it stays wide enough for us to fit. He says, or else we'll end up as eternal subterranean plugs. Holy cow.
Dude, can you imagine?
I can't.
You can't die. You're just caught in an underground river. You don't need to breathe. You're just sitting there.
Yeah.
Wild.
Imagine like you were imagine they're like floating down and they get to a skinny part and it's already plugged by an Elantrian.
Oh,
that tried this. That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Anyways, it was wide enough. They're good. He said the hardest part was trying to keep yourself in the middle so you didn't like bump against the walls.
Yeah, he says thankfully water's been running through it long enough though that if you did hit a rock, it was smooth enough now that it bruised instead of cut, which is it's a big deal for an Elantris.
Yeah, so they come out the other side. They're outside of Elantris, and Raoden starts coughing fit.
Because he didn't keep his freaking mouth closed.
Because he's dumb and didn't keep his mouth closed underwater. And Karada, like, clamps a hand over him and is like, shut up. She didn't say shut up. She was like, quiet, fool.
Which I like better, you know?
I do, yeah.
And he was pondering while they're floating down this river about just like death and whatnot. He's like, an eternity passed in that silent underworld. It was as if he floated through darkness itself, unable to speak, completely alone. Perhaps this was what death would bring, his soul set adrift in an endless, lightless void. So that's like the thoughts that are running through Raoden's mind. And so he gets out here, he's like, yeah, no, I probably should have like focused a little more on keeping my mouth closed instead of like pondering
death,
eternity, you know?
Yeah. He's kind of close because we know that when people die, they, for a moment, are in the cognitive world. Which most of the cognitive world is kind of dark and endless void. At least not in a subastral. In the Ember Dark. It's very much just like an endless void.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna try really hard to avoid any spoilers for the Emberdark for at least the next like
couple episodes.
Yeah,
give people like
probably the next month at least to give some people some time to catch up. But yes, if you're not in a sub-astral, we do know that the cognitive realm is endless darkness, basically.
Endless. Yeah. So he's not quite wrong there, but they come out beside the palace, and Raoden is about to like show Kurata how to get in, and then he's like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Is he gonna like kill my dad?
But yeah, they talk a little bit about the palace, and it says here, Raoden's father was not afraid, but the palace was like a manifestation of his single insecurity. It says he was often belligerent when he should have been intelligently apprehensive. The trait had earned him wealth as a businessman trading with the Fjordels, but it had brought him failure as a king. Yeah. And I just like, that was a good insight for me into like Iadon's like mentality. And, you know, the only reason he's on the throne is because he was like the richest man in Arelon when Elantris fell.
Yeah.
And so that's the only reason he's on the throne. And he is a good businessman because of this like insecurity.
But he's a terrible king.
But he's a terrible king because of it as well. So
it says he only has one thing, or he only was paranoid about one thing, and that was sleeping.
Yeah.
And because he is worried that assassins are gonna come and kill him and stuff. Yeah, so Kurata's like, well, you got us out of Elantris, now get us into the palace. And Raoden's kind of like, what do you want to do in the palace? Because he's like, oh, she might be coming to kill the king.
Yeah, which has already been talked about.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just asks her straight up, like, hey, what are you doing in the palace? And she's like, well, that's not really any of your business. You're not in a position to make demands right now. And he's like, you're not in a position to refuse them. So
he's like, if I could just start yelling and, you know, like, we'll get caught, you'll probably be burned. So he's like, just let me know. And she's like, my what does she say? My quibble.
My quibble.
My quibble is
he kind of backs up a little bit. He's like, I don't need to know exactly why you're going in. Just are you intending to kill the king? Are you intending to hurt Iadon?
Yeah. She's like, nah. And he's like, I don't know if I trust her, but I don't really have much of a choice now. So
we're here.
He puts his weight against a stone and a secret passage opens. And she's kind of surprised. She's like, a secret passage? How quaint.
And he talks about, like, this is Iadon's failsafe that he had built in because of his paranoia, where it'll give him a last-ditch effort to escape if somebody, like, attacks the palace. And she is just, like,
straight out of a fairy tale book.
Yeah, she's not like taunting. She's not like, but she's kind of bantering. She's like, I thought these things only existed in fairy tales.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, Iadon is quite fond of some of those tales. Like,
yeah. But we also learn later that it's not just like his escape route. He regularly uses this secret passage to sneak out of the palace and go do some Jesker Mysteries stuff.
Yeah.
So, they sneak in, and he I don't know if it says it here or in later in the book, but it says it here. He said that he used to play with his friends in this secret passage.
Mm-hmm.
So not so secret.
Yeah.
There's a few people that know about it.
There are now because Iadon showed it to him when he was like 16.
Yeah. Probably not the smartest.
Probably not the smartest because he immediately showed his friends. So it says him and Lukel played in here all the time. So I just kind of thought it was funny. I was like, that's funny knowing that Lukel knows exactly where this is too.
Yeah, I'm sure that also means Kiine.
Kiine, Shuden probably does.
Probably Royale, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I know Royale wouldn't have been, playing in there with them. So
no, but Shuden or Kiine also probably weren't playing in there with them.
Shuden's their age.
No, I don't think so. I think Shuden is good friends with Lukel, but I don't think Shuden's in his 20s. I'm pretty sure Shuden is like in his late 30s or 40s.
Interesting. I don't know. Because Shuden's the one who ends up dating Tarina.
Yeah, you're right. How old is she?
I don't know. Younger.
Okay, maybe Shuden is.
I feel
in
like
his 20s.
I guess I don't really have anything to back this up, but I've kind of always felt that like Shuden, Lukel, and Raoden were all right around that same age.
Yeah. I don't think it would be weird in this book for like a 30-something-year-old to date like an early 20-year-old.
No, it wouldn't.
So he could.
All the people that are trying to court Shuden.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. All of the maidens are like trying to court Shuden, and it's not just because of his money.
No,
Shuden's an
handsome.
attractive man.
He's hot.
Yeah.
I said this in the last episode. He's hot and he's polite and like treats everyone well and he's smart.
Yes. Shuden is like the picture perfect like example, I think, for a Jindo for us. Like
I think so.
I like the Jindo people just because of Shuden.
Yeah. And I don't think the Jindo people are quite like Shuden.
Probably not.
I
don't know.
It does say he's very traditional, so maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like Chaishon, that sort of like power system invites that type of personality and that type of like, because it's a very like self-focused, like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I like Shuden. I've always pictured him as like 30s something in my head.
Yeah.
I know you can't picture it in your head.
You know what? I don't need that from you right now.
Let's move on. So they get through the passage and it goes right into King Iadon's sleeping chamber.
Yeah.
So they sneak past him.
Yeah. Makes sense why Raoden needs to ask, like, because I'm taking you right past him. And it says he tensed up a little bit when they went past, but Karada barely even gave him a glance and just went through.
Yep. So they make their way through the palace to the barracks and then to the kind of family section of the barracks where like the guards that have families would sleep.
Yes.
And she picks a door and goes in and the guard's not there, but she crouches next to a child that's sleeping on a mattress on the floor. We know this is her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And she leaves her a note and her necklace.
Yes.
So
it was a necklace that she was intending to give her.
Yeah.
But when the Shaod comes, they take you and like you don't get to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, so she never got to say goodbye to her daughter. She doesn't know if anybody's told her daughter where she went. And so she wrote this note to explain, to say goodbye, probably to say she loves her and to give her this necklace. So
very touching.
Yeah.
That she's been sneaking out just to do this for her daughter.
Yes.
Love that. Love Karada.
So they go back through. They're going, just retracing their steps. They're going to take the same path back as they took in. And they get they're like at the last door before the hallway into King Iadon's like room.
Yep.
And he goes to open it and there's a guard on the other side who's like reaching out for that doorknob.
Yeah.
And
Karada, to her namesake, Grace and Smoothness, immediately just wraps her arms around him and covers his mouth.
Yeah.
Like silently, quickly, crazy.
However, this is a trained soldier.
And she's a Rio de Elantris.
She does not have the strength to, like, I'm sure her hold was good.
Yeah.
Again, we also know this is her husband.
Yep.
And I'm sure he trained her. I'm sure that's where a lot of her, because it says that, like, Raoden could tell she was practiced at, like, moving silently and, like, she's very accustomed to danger.
Yeah.
Which as a guard's wife, I don't know where she's running into all that. So I think there's a little more backstory there we don't know, but
yeah, we probably will never get.
yeah. But she wraps him in this like, this hold, and he just kind of like throws her off and pushes her to the side.
Yeah, and then Raoden goes like, "Stop it!" like quietly snaps.
Like because he can't yell.
Yeah, so he's like, "Stop!" And they both look at him annoyed.
Like they're like, "Hey, we're doing something here,"
Yeah. And this is where Raoden draws an Aeon in the air. It's Aeon Shio,
Yeah.
which means death.
Which, if you know the Aeons, which I can't guarantee that this guard does.
I don't think he does, but it's an Aeon floating in the air, like shining in the air. So he's obviously like, "Oh no!" And this is where, or he whispers, he's like, "Merciful Domai." Because Raoden's like, this is the Aeon for death.
Yeah.
It's going to hover here invisible because we know that Aeons just disappear. They don't work. So he's bluffing. He's like, "It'll be there for the next hour. If you so much as quiver, you're gonzo."
Yeah.
And so they grab his sword and they're out. And the guard just left standing there. And we know that like an alarm gets taken up later. Like, oh, someone's broken into the palace. I'm wondering if he stood there the whole hour and then went and like raised the alarm, or if someone happened upon him.
Yeah, found him.
And he's like, "I can't move. This guy drew a shining Aeon." Like, that's such a weird conversation.
Weird conversation. Nobody's gonna believe him.
No.
Like,
but he's like, "People were here, Elantrians, and they have powers, and I can't move." Like, I don't know how. I wonder how much trouble this guy got in.
yeah.
And which sucks.
Which
but,
sucks.
but like, what can you do? Someone drew the Aeon of death in front of you.
So they're walking back, and Karada just says like, "He didn't recognize me."
Yeah, which is sad.
Yes, it is so sad. And Raoden's like, "What?" And she's like, "That was my husband." Like,
Yeah, lived together for 12 years.
Oh.
Which, I'm married. I haven't even known my wife for 12 years yet. So to have lived together for 12 years and then like she's, I think, been in Elantris a year, maybe.
I think it's a year, yeah.
And so 12 years, she's gone a year, and she goes back and like your own spouse doesn't recognize you. Like, that hurts.
Yeah.
I feel for Karada here.
And I mean, fair in some aspects.
Yes.
Like, she doesn't have hair anymore.
Totally understandable.
And like, after you've been in the launches for a while, you start getting wrinkles, and Karada's at that point where like her skin is getting wrinkly and all this stuff, but still heartbreaking.
Still sad. So this is where she explains to Raoden, like, "That was my daughter. I wanted to leave her my necklace, blah, 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 blah." And then she's like, "You have done me a great service this night, my prince."
And Raoden's just like walking, and he just like freezes mid-step. He's like, "Huh?"
You know? She clocks him right away, and it like she lived in the palace.
Yeah.
For
12 years, presumably, at least
10.
10.
Well, it's only been 10 years.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So the palace.
Yeah, but I'm sure. Well, yeah.
We don't know if she lived there before King Iadon was king.
Yeah.
So she's lived there. Does she say? I lived in the palace for years. So she doesn't. She's like, "Yeah, I know who you are. But like, I didn't know if I could trust you because you're related to that man."
Yeah.
Like, the people do not like King Iadon.
No.
We'll see it later as well. Like, I think Marishi gets excited when he asks, like, "So he's dead?"
Yeah.
Like, the king's dead? Like,
they bring back this sword that they just stole,
Yeah.
and it's got the emblem of like the king's personal guard. And so
Yeah.
Marisha's like, "Oh, you killed him."
"You killed the king." Yes. You know, which kind of valid, not gonna lie. Like, Iadon, we all know, has been a bad king.
Yes.
Erelon is like on the brink of collapse because of the system that Iadon has set up. So it's just like,
I mean, Erelon's on the brink of collapse just in general,
Yes.
because they did not have the infrastructure for Elantris to fall.
right.
Because Elantris was providing all of their necessities.
Yeah.
But Iadon's not helping.
I don't think the people of Erelon make that distinction.
Yeah.
I think they mostly see like, my life has gotten worse ever since Iadon's been on the throne. So they blame Iadon.
Yeah. Probably.
So, they're walking back and Karada's, so she's like, how are we? Well, first she sees a loaf of bread in a window and she like freezes and she's like, it's so close. It's right there. Rayoden's like, we can't take that chance. Like everything's locked up. We don't want, like, let's not do it.
Yeah.
We can't grab enough to make a difference in Elantris anyways. Like, let's not take that chance.
Yeah. And as they're walking, they're having the conversation where Karada's like, you know, I know who you are. You've done this great service. My people will leave you alone.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not enough. That's not enough, Karada. Like, and she says, oh, you're gonna demand more than our bargain. And he says, I demand nothing.
Yeah.
But I want your loyalty. He says, you know who I am, and you can guess what I'm trying to do. And she says, you're like Aendin. You think to lord over Elantris.
Yeah.
And Rayoden's like, no, I'm not.
It's like,
I'm not trying to lord over anything.
Yeah.
He says, people certainly are quick to judge me today.
Yeah.
Which I kind of thought, I was like, who else made snap judgments of Rayoden today? Like,
yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But
she's like, how can you change anything in Elantris? Like, as long as food is scarce, the people will fight and destroy to sate their hunger.
yes.
And so Raiden's like, well, we'll just have to fill up their bellies. Like, this is the plan, sort of thing. And he's like, do you recognize this? It's a pouch that the corn seed was in.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, it had food in it. And it said her eyes blazed with desire. So, like, she'd still be hungry.
Yeah.
For sure. And he's like, it held corn, but not just corn, seed corn. Because it's part of the Karathi thing that they have to be sent with a sacrifice that includes plantable, a grain that's plantable. That's like part of the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, seed corn? He's like, yeah, I've been collecting it from all the newcomers.
He's like, we can plant it.
And
he says, there's not that many people in Elantris.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard to feed everybody. And we have the time to work a garden.
Yeah. Her eyes are wide and she's like, no one's ever thought of doing that before, sort of thing. And I think
which is crazy to me.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, they're still human. They've lived, you know, like, they didn't.
Yeah.
There's rumors on the outside that Elantrians, like, lose themselves and who they are and, like, their memories and whatnot. We know that's not true.
Yeah.
And Galadon was a farmer.
Yeah.
Why hasn't Galadon thought of this, you know?
I think it's probably because, at least in recent Elantrian history, the three gangs have just taken everything.
Yeah.
So you get turned into an Elantrian, taken away from your home and family, thrown into this city, and straight away someone comes up and takes your offering. There's no time for you to have been like, oh, you know what? This is seed corn. Maybe I could plant this. I am getting kind of hungry, you know?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Previous to like the three gangs, we just don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe someone has tried planting it, but Elantris is Elantris. And like, I think it said later in the book, Galadon's like, as soon as one barely sprouts, you're going to have people eating it out of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have been tried.
Which is kind of true. And Rayoden does go into it here. He's like, the reason nobody's tried it is because they can't think past their next mouthful.
Yeah.
Like, everybody is so hungry that they can't think past it. But he's also working to overcome that issue with giving people a purpose. And if you can, you know, hold off long enough, give people a purpose long enough, you can get to a point where everybody can eat, you know, 2 to 3 meals a day. And again, there's just not that many people in Elantris.
Yeah. So Karada looks up from the small pouch and just goes, amazing. And I think here is, we see these like moments where people just decide to trust someone. We saw it with Rayoden trusting Galadon. We saw it with Saolin, you know, swearing his loyalty to Lord Spirit.
Yeah.
And I think this is Karada realizing, like, I'm going to trust him.
Yeah.
Right here. And then she sees the bread. Rayoden's like, it's not worth it. We can't do anything. We got to go. Karada's kind of like, how are we going to get back in? And he's like, just watch. He just walks up to the guard and is like, excuse me. Yoo-hoo. Could you open the door, please? And the guards are stunned, obviously.
Yeah.
Elantrian, outside of Elantris. They're like, huh? And then he's like, I just need the door open.
Yeah, just open the gate. I want to go back in,
Like,
you know?
could kill me, but then you gotta explain why there's an Elantrian outside of Elantris. So weigh your options, my guy. They end up opening the door for them.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, and I wouldn't get too close to me. The Shaod is highly contagious after all. And I'm like,
yeah, it's not. It's a great lie.
yes.
Right there, but it's not. And he's like, thank you, my good man. They go back into Elantris.
And Karada is just like, you're kind of weird, dude.
Yeah.
She's like, you act like it's such a privilege to live here. And Raoden's like, oh, so let's act that way. You know, like part of the despair of Elantris is the, you know, it's self-perpetuating.
Yeah.
If we act like it's a privilege to live here and be here, then eventually we'll forget. He says something. I can't remember, but it's like if we act like it's a privilege to live here, we'll maybe forget how pitiful our existence is.
He says, if we act like living here is a blessing, then maybe we'll start to forget how pathetic we think we are.
Yeah. Which I thought was great.
Yeah, great line. And then Raoden turns to her and he's like, hey, I need 2 more things from you. And he's like, 1, don't tell anybody who I am. Same thing he told to Galadon. He's like, I don't want people to follow me because I'm the prince. I want people to follow me because, you know, I can make a change and all that.
Yeah.
And he's like, 2, don't tell anybody about the well or the way we got out either. Because if too many Elantrians get caught, they're just going to come and destroy us.
Yeah.
So
it's just safer. And he also, I think, talks about here, like, if we're sneaking in and stealing food all the time, Elantris will never become self-sufficient. And in order for us to function as like a society, which is what he's trying to do, he's trying to build a society.
Yeah.
He's like, we need to become self-sufficient.
Yep. And then Sereni comes in.
He just ruins the whole thing. Come on, Sereni.
Yeah. And then Karada is finally like, you know what? I need you to see something. I want to tell you something. So they go back to the palace, and it just says here, the children were happy.
Which is just like such a line right there, because up until this point in the book, you don't know what's been happening to children. It's been raised as a question once. You're like, what's Raoden's like, hey, Galadon, like, where are the kids at? You know, like, and so to just see that line, like, the children were happy.
Yeah, especially because that conversation with Galadon was very sad and very like, because he's basically like, well, they don't last here. You know, like, it's a dangerous place, and basically alludes to the fact that, like, they're probably just all Rio'd in some corners. Like, they don't last in Elantris, which is just like sad.
Yeah.
And so having this, the children were happy, was just like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon. We appreciate it.
Yep.
So Raoden is like, so this is where they all go, you know?
Yeah, and Karada goes on to explain how her whole quote unquote gang are men and women who have left a little child back at home. Just as like, man.
Yeah. just to feel good. And it says, you know, Karada says, when I first came to Elantris, I saw the children huddled in the shadows, frightened of everything that passed. And so it really was like, before Karada got there, she's only been there a year.
Yeah.
So before Karada got there, it kind of was what Galadon had said. It was like all the children were just like huddled in the corners, scared of everything. A lot of them Rio'd, I'm sure. And she said, I thought of my own little Opeis, which is her daughter. Again, that's Aeon Ope, which is flower. Same as Opalon.
Right.
And she said, something within my heart healed when I began to help them. And so we see there, you know, Karada's already figured out the secret that
having
which we've
purpose.
already talked about. Purpose gives a lot of healing.
It's interesting here. She says, I don't understand it, my prince. They're better at dealing with the hunger than the rest of us.
Yeah.
Which maybe they're not as hungry because they don't need as much to sustain themselves. Because, like, we know that Elantrians would use the door to sustain themselves. And the absence of the door means, like, they can never, you know,
be sated. And
And I don't know if it's just like they're smaller, they don't need as much, and so it's not as, I don't know.
I just think it's they don't think about it. I think that's like the issue with most of the Elantrians. I mean,
yeah,
we see later, who was it that just came? Kahar
yeah,
just came and started cleaning. After he's done cleaning, he comes back to Raoden. This is in, like the next couple chapters. He comes back to Raoden and he's like, what's next? And Raoden's like, well, this is clean now, but we still have to, this whole section, we're going to be tracking grime in and out of here.
yeah.
And he's like, oh, that's a project. But he's excited to do it. And then Raoden, like, he turns to go get started. And Raoden's like, Kahar, did you discover the secret?
Yeah.
And he turns and he's like, I haven't been hungry in days,
Yeah.
And so I think that's just like, if you're not thinking about it, if you're not dwelling upon it, if you have a purpose, a kid's purpose is to have fun. Like
Sure.
kids don't have responsibilities and purpose in the same way that adults do. And so I think because of that, they just don't focus on their hunger as much. And I think that's why.
Yeah, I can take that. That makes sense. Raoden's kind of like, why are you showing me this? And this is where Karada's like, I want to join you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to be part of your quote unquote gang. And it's mostly because Karada doesn't know how much longer she can last.
Karada's been carrying that same weight that like Raoden's starting to feel of like, when she falls, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. So she's kind of handing the torch off to Raoden, who, by Elantrian standard, is just getting started and shouldn't be feeling like he's gonna crack soon.
But he
is. And so like he takes the torch and he's like, yeah, like you can follow me. He takes the weight of all this, but it's just more people that might fall with him. So.
Yeah, and I mean, he sees it like become lighter on her.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
he can see that she is like past that responsibility off. She does also talk to him because they're in this room full of kids. She's like, I have another room.
Yeah.
She's like, I've got another room where I have a bunch of other kids who do nothing but whimper all day long because they're better at dealing with the hunger. They're, they ignore their pain, but they still have a breaking point.
Yeah.
And she's like, and at one point, a kid will fall one too many times or get one too many scratches.
Yeah.
And they'll snap. So that's just like awful. But yeah, she just kind of passes that weight off and he accepts it. He says it would be an honor. And she says, she turned back to the children with a sigh. She says, I don't have much left in me. I've worried that what would happen to my children when I am lost. This dream you have, this crazy idea of an Elantris where we grow food and we ignore our pain, I want to see you try to create it. And I love what she says here. She says, I don't think you can, but I think you will make something better of us in the process.
Yeah.
And so Karada's at the point where like, yeah, this is probably not going to work. But she already knows that purpose will like make things better. And so she's like, it's probably, this ideal like dream Elantris you have where we grow food, we ignore our pain, and everybody's like, not going to happen. But I think we'll be better for it.
Yep. I agree. I think they'll be better for it as well. Good job, Karada.
Good job, Karada.
Raiden's kind of like, hey, would you have actually broken my people's limbs? And she was like, what would you have done if I tried to kill the king? And he's like, okay, questions better left unanswered.
Yeah.
And then we skip over to Raoden coming back, and like a worried mother, Galadon.
He's got the torch light on.
He's waiting with a concerned face.
Yes.
Just out there with a lantern, like, is he back yet? Oh, I'm so worried. I love Galadon.
Raoden, from the darkness, he goes, a light to guide me home, my friend? And Galadon says, Suli, my Dolakin, you're not dead.
Raoden goes, of course I am. We all are. At least that's what you seem to be fond of telling me. So good.
I love Raoden and Galadon's banter. It's
great. Yeah. And Galadon's like, where's the woman?
Raoden's like, I walked her home as any gentleman would,
Great dialogue here.
Yeah.
We definitely just read that word for word, but but it's good dialogue. I loved it. So then Saolin sees him and he's like, oh, like Lord Spirit has returned. Yay.
Yeah.
And this is where Raoden gives Saolin the sword.
Mm-hmm.
And where Marishi's like, so you killed him. He says,
little bloodthirsty
he says,
on
then-
Rishi's part.
he says, then the king's dead, Marishi asked eagerly. Raiden's like, nothing of the sort. Our mission was of a personal nature, did not involve killing.
But the guard who owned this sword is probably a little peeved.
Yep. And so he's like, so Galadon's like, so she's gonna like leave us alone then? And he's like, well, actually, she's joining.
Yeah. I signed her up.
She's signed up. She's recruited.
She's gonna be part of the I had a joke and I can't think of the word, so
darn.
moving on. Oh man.
And then he's like,
pyramid scheme. That's what she's gonna be part of the pyramid scheme. My bad.
You're dumb.
It was gonna be funny until I had to like pause and think of it. Now it's no longer funny. Anyway,
Raiden's like, there's something y'all need to see.
Yeah.
And Galadon's like, what is it? And he's like, proof that the hunger can be defeated. It's good stuff. And
It's
that's
good
the
stuff.
end of Raoden's chapter.
Yep. So it's time for what did he say?
Yeah. What did he say? This is our segment. I don't know why I closed my book.
I don't know either. I closed mine too, and I was like, I should probably just open it.
Gonna be needing to open that again. But what did he say is the segment we do here on the pod where we take turns finding words of Brandon and ask each other the question, and the other one has to answer as if they were Brandon.
Yeah. Guessing what Brandon would have answered to this question. The score currently stands Jake 1, Jax 0. Hoping to even it up today.
Yes. So it is my turn to ask the question. And the question says, is Ada Nalsium's power original to Ada Nalsium?
Oh.
So basically saying, did Ada Nalsium get his power from someone else? Or was it original to him?
Okay.
That was the question.
Okay. Is the answer a simple yes or no as far as like what I need to get my point?
You can say yes or no. That will give you the point.
Okay.
If you would like to explain your answer, that's fine. Brandon does a little bit. We'll see if I can read that part of it. But
no.
Explain.
Ada Nalsium basically is the first example we have of unattended investiture gaining sentience.
Uncanonically.
Yeah.
That is a theory.
That is a theory.
That we subscribe to.
Yeah, that Ada Nalsium was just all the investiture of the planet gaining sentience.
Okay.
So I don't think it can be original. I don't think it came from someone else, but I think it's there with or without Ada Nalsium. Dude, just tell me I got a point, please.
It's hard because you're right and wrong.
Oh.
You contradicted yourself. You said, so the answer was Ada Nalsium's power original to Ada Nalsium?
Yeah.
And you said, no, it's not original to Ada Nalsium. But then you said the power, it basically was the power gaining consciousness to Ada Nalsium. Those two contradict each other. You see that, right?
I don't think so. I think you're
wrong.
think it's the chicken and the egg.
No point. I'm saying no point because you're not seeing that it's contradicting itself. If Ada Nalsium is all the investiture in the Cosmere gaining consciousness, then Ada Nalsium is the investiture of the Cosmere, which is original to itself. Do you not, you see that, right?
Okay, so what's the actual answer?
Yes.
Really?
It is original to Ada Nalsium.
Really?
He says,
gosh dang it, bro.
Give me a second.
I thought we were going to get more points on this segment than we have.
The problem is you have the logic.
I got the logic right.
Yes, but you're saying it's no.
Yeah.
Because you're considering the investiture of the Cosmere and Ada Nalsium separate entities, which they're not.
Yeah. My whole thing is it's kind of like a chicken and egg, like what came first, Ada Nalsium and so his investiture, or the investiture and so Ada Nalsium.
But
but they're one and the same.
Yeah, there's no chicken and egg. It is just egg, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the investiture of the Cosmere is the egg, and it's like asking if that chicken was original to itself or if it came from somewhere else. If it was the first chicken, then it's original to itself. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So he says, yes, as far as anyone knows. So basically,
that's not definitive at all.
Well, me saying yes as far as so his answer is yes.
Yeah.
It is original to himself as far as anyone knows.
Yeah.
Because
So,
he's saying people in the Cosmere have no idea.
What he's saying is if there was anything before Adonalsium, it was before anything in the Cosmere, and so nobody's gonna know.
Yeah. So no point for Jax. I almost gave it to you because your logic was correct. Your answer just was wrong. And I tried to like hand it to you and give you the opportunity to see your mistake, but then you doubled down. You had like a 98% chance of getting a point here, and you took the 2%. That means you wouldn't.
Hey, you know what? Okay.
Apparently we do not think like Brandon.
Yeah, well, I just don't have a deep enough understanding of the Cosmere, I guess.
I guess not, but you do. Because you were right. Anyway, that was our segment. We are still Jackson 0, Jake 1. This is episode 5? But
this is episode 5 of Elantris.
This is the 6th time. So out of 6 attempts, we have gotten 1 right.
And it was a gimme because I didn't realize we were going to be keeping points either.
It was just like canon. It was like, who's the third shard on Roshar? It's like, podium.
Easiest question ever.
So,
oh, man.
We'll try harder, I guess. Not that we're not trying hard.
I tried my best, bro.
All the ones you've given me past then were just like toss-ups.
Yeah, but I gave you like a 66% chance and a 50-50 chance. So I'm not like it's a toss-up, sure.
This was 50-50.
Okay.
But really it was like 98-2. Because I was so ready to give you a point today. I was so ready to give you a point today.
Yeah, it's fair. Well, that is going to conclude the first part of our episode. If you're listening, the episode or second part is out right now. So go ahead and hop over there and continue on with our journey.
Yep. Part 2 will be out now. This is the end of part 1. So we will see you guys in a second.